I'm gonna need you to sign this to confirm you don't have superpowers.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to A Stark Contrast, where we discuss the differences and similarities between Marvel Comics and their MCU counterparts. And we're your hosts, Geoffrey
and Dai.
Hello, and welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, mate.
Hello. It's May.
Elsa Bloodstone.
It's May. What are you aiming at?
As you can tell, Jeff and I dabbled in a little Marvel Rivals before recording, but yeah, some good stuff so far this month. We're still waiting for more like Doomsday stuff. I mean, they're dropping that merch, but like other than that and prepping for Daredevil, still nothing out of the Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yes, nothing.
Camp, nothing. More merch as well, and those leaked like art concepts, which are probably real. But nothing else. It's all been gaming.
All I've seen, at least on the MCU side, is just reiterating Wonder Man.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, watch it now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nothing.
Advocate.
Yeah, nothing
else.
Yeah,
right?
But I feel like they never tease it. It's kind of just like if it drops, it drops.
Yeah,
that's like I kind of I've liked waking up in the morning and then the first thing I see when I check social media, I'm like, ooh, okay.
And then you look at the timestamp; it's all like 6 a.m.
I know, and I was like, all right, I know you guys like planned that, but damn, it's so early.
No. So yeah, my next theory, because I nailed it with Daredevil. My next theory is that hopefully we will see the Brand New Day stuff come late March, because it's already late. Technically, it is late, but Sony, what is the agreement? Sony does the marketing or Marvel does the marketing?
I think, ooh.
Right? I can't remember who does what. Because the Marvel maybe produces and distributes it, but Sony
and
does
production,
the
yeah.
There's an arrangement. One is one and the other.
Yes.
So depending on who holds that key will determine.
I think Sony is in control of the marketing because they want to control.
Right.
Like when they see so then when it does well, they're like, look at us.
Look at what we did.
Look what we can generate.
Right. And of course right now they're inundated with Spider Noir.
Yes.
So in order to get that going, they gotta let him go first, and then Daredevil's somewhere around there, and then Sony will come back with Brand New Day.
Yeah. When does Noir come out?
Noir is supposed to be out, I think, any month now.
At the end of the month.
It's actually May 27th. So it's,
oh my God! Yes.
Yeah.
The trailer came out, but it doesn't come till May. All
right. Yeah. So again, if that's in May and then Brand New Day is in July, we will see something out of the camp after Daredevil, if all timing is to be assumed. But yeah, to Jeff's point, nothing much in the MCU camp. There's some stuff going on in comics. It's all kind of weird. Let me just say, there's a storyline that's happening right now where Norman Osborn is Spider-Man. Stan is rolling around in his grave right now.
Crazy
they're getting weird. His pupils are Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy. All of the kids are under him right now. And I'm like, nah.
That's crazy.
I don't know what you're trying to sell me, but I don't like it. So there's comic stuff happening. I'm not going to talk about it all so much. Instead, we did get some news about the video game world. So first up, Tokon Fighting Souls, or Tokon.
Nice.
Fighting Souls is the next game coming from Marvel Games, and it's slated to finally release this summer on August 6th on both PS5 and PC. The price range, oh my God, this must be our new norm, because it starts at $59.99, upward of $99.99 for a video game, for like a fighting game.
Is that like a deluxe package?
It is. It's like the ultimate collection.
Okay.
And it includes 20 playable characters on launch plus 4 DLC characters on top of that. So there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of buzz regarding the roster as well. And then they have this thing called a 1-year pass, and nobody knows what it entails yet. So it seems like the recipe that they're going to do what they do with Rivals and release skins and seasons. And it's like, here we go with the microtransactions again. But you know, if you're curious about the game, I did do a beta testing video. It's on our YouTube channel.
Hell yeah.
It's fun. So I'm curious what the final roster is going to look like. But yeah, they revealed 4 of the X-Men, which include Storm, Wolverine, Magic, and oh my gosh.
No Cyclops?
No, not yet. And it's funny that you mentioned that because on Twitter, the chatter is that, Cyclops is 0-4 right now. So there have been 4 major video game releases in modern history. Cyclops is nowhere to be found. Yeah, so people are wondering, is this going to be the one that we finally get him in? And so the other character was Danger. She's a robot. Yeah, she's really cool. She comes from some cool lore. It's either Danger or Jocasta. I'm not sure, but that's all they revealed so far. On top of the ones that I played, which of course included Captain America and Iron Man, Star-Lord. So 20 is a pretty decent roster. We'll see what happens, and I'm sure they're going to do the same thing. Marketing releases all the way through until it drops. So this summer, August, there you go. There's more to report because Marvel Rivals, of course, they've released a new roadmap, a new season, and new items. And as of this morning, I don't know if you caught this, Jeff, NetEase just announced a free Marvel Rivals Assemble event is taking place on Tuesday, March 3rd at the El Capitan Theater. So this is the one where people are thinking, they're going to reveal, speaking of, Cyclops, maybe even Black Cat and other characters that they've been teasing. And the lineup itself pretty much consists of every prominent voice actor in the game so far. AJ's not on there, though. I was like,
damn,
where are you at? But he's on Star Wars right now. So
sure.
He's busy. He's busy. But all the other folks are going to be there. It's also the first major appearance of the game's creative director, Guang, who is the guy that you'll see. If you see the videos that they post on social, he's the one speaking, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And there's a promise for many surprises. And I'm like, we're going to get an exclusive skin and some units.
That'd be cool if you...
Yeah, and there's apparently going to be like a performance of some sort too. I was like, okay, are we getting Luna Snow to like sing? This is going to be fun.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. And it's at El Capitan. And so the event sold out in under 4 minutes flat. But there is a waiting list if you did not get tickets. And some people might cancel. But, Geoffrey, your girl got in.
Of course.
So I have a ticket. And they only allowed 1 per person.
1 ticket per person?
One ticket per person per account. So they really locked down on it. But I did manage to get one. So I was like,
wow.
And I didn't.
Is it first come, first served?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm going to have to. I'll be in the area anyway. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hop on over. And we'll see what happens. But I already told a friend, I was like, clocking it now. I'm going to be the oldest person at that thing. I'm going to be the oldest person. Because I don't think they had like an 18 and over thing. I think they just like anybody and everybody. So there's going to be some literal children.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I'm like, do I wear my username? Like, yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And I hope I get something Rocket Raccoon because, your girl's Rocket Raccoon Bane over here. So let's go. But yeah, so that should be fun. We'll see what happens and we'll talk about it in a future episode. And before we get into our character study for this episode, I wanted to just give a loving rest in peace to Mr. Sal Buscema. And he was an acclaimed comic artist known for his work on many, many notable Marvel books, including, but hardly limited to, Captain America, The Defenders, Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Spectacular Spider-Man. And he also helped create many characters along the way. Sal was 89 when he passed away. And so thanks for everything, Sal. He is also the brother of John Buscema. We've talked about quite a bit as well. And so they were both in the comic game together. And unfortunately, this one set sail. So big salute to Sal. And so all that said, let's dive into this character study. But first, a reminder, we are not experts. We don't claim to be. We're just a couple of nerds nerding out. And in this episode, we're nerding out about
Wonder Man.
Wonder Man, not Elsa Bloodstone. Wonder Man.
Wonder Man.
Jeff's working on.
I can't get that deep.
He's
Simon Williams reading for Wonder Man,
and it's so notably chill.
Yeah,
he's
like calm,
yes,
collected.
Yes,
like just no panic at all.
Zero, but inside he is just
Woo!
exactly. I love that.
Exactly.
One of my favorites. So related episodes to this one, you can check out episodes 126 of our, which is basically our Wonder Man season 1 recap review. We also very, very briefly mentioned Simon way back in episode 5 of the podcast when we talked about Scarlet Witch, as well as episode 14 about Vision. And so when it comes to Simon Williams as a character, he was indeed created by who else but Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Don Heck. And his first appearance was The Avengers #9, October 1964.
Oh, man.
So we're talking a couple years in, obviously, issue 9.
That's
so
golden, right? That's golden age?
It's just after.
Okay.
Yeah. Golden kind of ends at 60.
60?
Yeah. And so so this is essentially year 1 of the Avengers. Still 9 months in technically, if you're talking 1 issue per month, issue 9.
Got it.
And so released in October. And so here's the cover. Marvel proudly introduces Wonder Man.
Oh, yeah.
The newest, most dynamic surprise character from the world-famous House of Ideas.
Every time I hear that, like, that voice and then that type of text, style of text, I hear that.
Exactly. Wonder Man. Exactly. That's exactly the whole vibe, right? It's the entire vibe.
Yeah.
Yes, and it depicts Wonder Man in the very front and center with Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Wasp, and Goliath, not Ant-Man, on the cover, as well as some villains on the bottom, which consist of Scourge, the Executioner.
Got it.
This is Billy Butcher.
Ah.
That guy. Enchantress and Baron Zemo. And so we'll talk about them as we go along here, but go ahead, take a crack. Cover price on this one.
64, number 9. Oh, God. I'm 15. It's 12, huh?
It's 12. It's 12. Yeah, you got.
Damn it!
You gotta basically think, okay, anything before 65, or maybe before before 68 is gonna be 12.
Yeah.
And then inflation
it's
hit
it's the jump from 10 to 12 that gets me, because I'm like, why would you just do that? Why don't you just do like straight like nickel?
A nickel, times changing, right? And so the issue title is The Coming of Wonder Man, which is funny because as I was filling out our doc here, I always copy it over from the last character, and like previously we talked about Galactus and that, or Silver Surfer, and that issue was called The Coming of Galactus because Galactus was introduced. So I'm like, they're just the coming of Vision.
They're arriving.
They're
arriving.
Sure. And so, yes, with a cover price of 12 cents, now you can find a CGC 8.0 on Shortbox for a cool $1,600.
It's a good price.
Not bad for Wonder Man. Yeah. And then on eBay, there is a CGC 9.2 for $5,400, which is also signed by Stan Lee. But you can alternatively get a CGC 9.0 for $3,500. So people on Shortbox understand the assignment. They're not going to overcharge you. It's just how it goes. And so, yeah, you're kind of looking in the ballpark of $2,000 to $3,000 for Wonder Man's first appearance at a decent grade. Whereas the lowest grade I found was a CGC 3.0 on Shortbox for $239. And on eBay, oh my God, 0.5 for $144.
0.5 is crazy.
It's nuts. And of course, lest we forget, facsimile editions do exist. So do not get scammed, especially now if you're into Wonder Man the series. Don't go looking for the first appearance and end up buying a facsimile version for too much money. Just don't do it. On the side, you could find this issue raw for anywhere between $50 to $400, which isn't too bad if you ask me. And there are currently 2,076 records of CGC graded versions of this comic in the database right now. So, is it safe to assume the series is your first exposure to this character?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about him in the Scarlet Witch episode. Obviously, so then naturally, I Google what he looks
Sure,
like.
yeah.
But in terms of the full character, yes.
Yeah.
The show.
The show, yeah. Which I think is truly 95%, maybe 90% of fan base right now. You know, he's such a classic character, as we'll get into. And for me personally, I only knew him from the trading cards. Because I was not an Avengers baby. You know, again, I was an X-Men girl. So it wasn't until fairly into my 20s I was even really aware of who Wonder Man was. And so going back and especially now reading it and now seeing like, oh, he's got a series. And we even said this in our season review, like Marvel is known for taking these unsuspecting characters and creating a world around them that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy and now Wonder Man being two incredible examples of that. You know, characters that weren't exactly popular, but now they're household names.
Yes.
So that's pretty awesome. And so when it comes to Wonder Man in our mini book of superheroes, his real name, Simon Williams, height 6'2", place of origin, Paterson, New Jersey.
Oh, interesting.
And weight, 380 pounds. He's a muscular boy.
Damn.
Yeah, he's a heavyset boy. And so as for his bio, oh, Jeff, you're in for a good one.
No!
So Baron Zemo bombarded Simon Williams with ionic energy in order for the so-called Wonder Man to infiltrate the Avengers and destroy them from within. However, Wonder Man ignored Zemo's orders and died in defense of his teammates. Simon soon returned from the dead and rejoined the Avengers as a being of pure ionic energy.
Interesting.
The look on your face is exceptional.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very different.
This might be my little social segment.
Yeah, if you haven't yet, check our social media because Jeff is now doing these "It's Jeff" recaps of
I was
characters.
literally thinking about like how I would edit at the beginning.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do that. Welcome to another segment of It's Jeff.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, ooh, can I get him to do another epic voice guy? Come help us.
Baron Zemo, interesting.
Yeah, or I could do it. Yeah, Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo is to think.
Well, because I'm
or-
thinking of like that intro and how he came to be, and then I think of the show, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Like, well, first of all, we don't even know how he got his powers
Exactly.
yet.
Yes.
So-
exactly. Yeah.
I think people. I mean, we'll get into it, but I think the audience is assuming he got his powers from the
kitchen explosion.
the kitchen explosion,
Mhm. Which could be very wrong.
which could be very wrong.
But-
But also, it's like, is someone actually involved?
Right.
Because where are you getting ionic energy from?
Right.
Is that was that kitchen?
Unless he's a full-fledged mutant.
Unless that kitchen still was made from Roxxon, I don't. You know, it's just stuff like that.
He dipped his toe into Roxxon
Yeah.
sauce.
Like we
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
have no idea how he got his powers.
Yeah.
So we don't know if we can be like oh, he's an experiment or he was tasked by someone else.
Right,
So
right.
it's like, huh.
It could be anything. Yeah.
That
and so-
is a very stark contrast.
yeah, so Baron Zemo right at the top. And so when it comes to Simon and his first appearance as well as origin, which is essentially in the same issue, thank God. Like many before and after him, Simon's first appearance is a subplot in the meat of the issue, which at large focuses on Baron Zemo, Enchantress and Executioner. And so from the issue before, they were lost in an orbital space warp after battling the Avengers. Thor sent them
Whoa.
beyond and to get rid of them. But they return, of course, because they need to get their revenge. We have to take our revenge on the Avengers. And they
Yeah.
come back, and then they plot their plot. And then it's then we learn of the talk of the town. And so on the Daily Gazette, inventor arrested for embezzlement. Simon Williams admits guilt, blames Anthony Stark for downfall. It's been a minute since JJ came out. I had to let him have it. It's not Spider-Man.
Inventor. That's so good.
And so right there, this is our first semblance of Simon Williams. And so he was an inventor who was being arrested for embezzlement. Mm-hmm. He admitted he was guilty, and he also blames Anthony Stark for his downfall. So very interesting equation there. It ends up being that Simon is the son of Sanford Williams, who is the owner of Williams Innovations. And so it's easily said via Wikipedia, for instance, quote unquote, Simon inherits the munitions factory after his father's death, but the company's profits fall due to its biggest competitor, Tony Stark, and his company, Stark Industries. And so as a result, Simon resorted to embezzling, which we'll talk about more later. But at this point, you can assume that he's in his early 20s. And so he's just a failed, like, he inherited all this stuff and he just failed. Because Tony Stark is Tony Stark.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. And so Enchantress and Executioner, disguised as civilians, go to meet Simon at court and bail him out as means of taking a step closer toward revenge. Because how better to get revenge on Iron Man than through the man that he protects, who is Tony Stark. So at this point in time, you have to remember, people don't know that Tony is Iron Man.
Yes.
They still think, oh, Iron Man is his protector. And so their whole plot is, we get to Tony Stark, we get to Iron Man.
Yeah.
Great. That's how we get our revenge. And so they have to travel to South America. So they're like, we'll bail you out and we'll get you right, but you have to come with us to South America. And Simon, for some reason, is like, great.
Sure.
Sounds
Sure.
okay. That sounds weird, but I'll go anyway. So he goes with them. And Zemo proceeds to conduct his experiments on Simon. So they're promising to equip him with what he needs, like the tools he needs to become a successful being. And so Zemo conducts the experiments, bombarding him with, quote unquote, the most potent, most powerful ionic rays ever assembled in one concentrated area. And it increases his invincibility so much that there's a visible difference. And so, in classic form, a laboratory.
Of course.
And Baron Zemo, Simon is in the ionic chamber.
Yeah.
And they're watching, and he pushes the lever, and immediately he starts, his body's like, it's kind of like the Captain America effect, where he kind of swells and he's growing the mass. And so he becomes this wonder of a man.
Sure.
Zemo is like, there, it is done. I have created a new breed of man, a living engine of destruction. And it's so funny because this is all for the simple reason of getting revenge on the Avengers.
Yeah.
So he's going through all this trouble for one person so that he could destroy the Avengers. And so they put him through these trials, and then Zemo adorns him with the costume. And he dubs him at long last, you will henceforth be known as Wonder Man.
What is up with these luchador colors, bro?
Interesting, right? But you have to think in the 60s, when they're actually coloring.
Yes.
And it's not digital.
Yes.
Your palette's going to be a little boring.
Yeah.
And so it is also kind of like our color theory that we used to talk about.
Yeah.
Science and scientific and chaos, green.
Yeah.
And red is exactly like what it is.
It's like villainy-ish.
Yeah, it's very villainy-ish.
So
And
funny.
in some ways, it's complementary for whatever reason to the rest of the characters. But my favorite part about this particular panel, when they finally name him, is that Simon's first reaction is, but why the costume? Why the corny name? So he's already like...
He's like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. And Enchantress is immediately taken with him. How handsome you look. You almost look like an immortal of Asgard. So she's already like, okay. And so we're not going to talk about it too much, but that Enchantress's reaction to Simon then kind of creates this love triangle between she, he, and Scourge. Wholly unnecessary, but you know how they are. So anyway, after he becomes Wonder Man, they've equipped him with the means to destroy the Avengers. And so he essentially has all of these powers and nuances of powers that could destroy them. He has the ability to combat Thor's strength and the ability to be as agile as Captain America and also absorb bullets. Like, you know, he shoots him point blank and he's essentially bulletproof. So he can go against all of the Avengers on the team. And after the display of power, Executioner then questions Zemo. He's like, how can we even control him?
Yeah.
if he's that powerful.
Yeah.
And Zemo reveals at that very moment that the power that he's imbued Simon with will also kill him within a week. So he's a ticking time bomb of ionic power. And of course, Zemo is the only one with the antidote.
Uh-huh.
And so it will sustain him week over week, but Simon has to do his bidding.
Yeah.
They got him. They got him in his pocket. And Simon, despite knowing that this is terrible and awful, which says a lot about his character,
Yeah.
he's like, but I want to live. So I'm going to do it. So he ends up doing it. And after staging this robbery to gain the Avengers' attention, it's so funny because all these villains do the most silly clown stuff to get the attention. Same thing with Fantastic Four. They're like, oh, well, I'll just push this woman off a bridge.
Yes.
And
Someone
the
will
Fantastic
save.
Four, yeah,
Exactly.
someone will save her.
So stupid.
The case is the same here. They stage a robbery. The Avengers come right on time. And the teams go head to head. And so Wonder Man jumps into the fray in the middle of the fight. So it's Zemo and Enchantress and Executioner versus the Avengers. And then here comes Wonder Man. And he tries to impress them. He's like, I'll help you, friends. And they're like, oh, who is this guy? And so he's helping the Avengers win the fight, quote unquote. And they're impressed by him. They absolutely fall for it. And it works until it doesn't, because the moment Simon begins to tell them of his origin story and he went to South America to get these, both Hank Pym and Cap are like, that sounds suspicious. And it's kind of funny because the intentionality is so innocent. He's like, oh, I'm here because I'd like to join your team.
Yeah.
And they're all like, that sounds great. Tell us more about yourself. And he's like, South America. And they're like, suspicious. It's all so suspicious. And so Zemo, Enchantress, and Executioner watch from a hidden camera that they've put in Simon's costume this entire time. And then the moment they realize the distress, because it's so funny, I think Zemo even says it. He's like, oh, he's terrible at this. Like, he can't lie. He doesn't know how to lie. And so the moment they realize, Enchantress then casts a spell from the South America base that Zemo has set up. And she suggests that Simon is dying from a rare disease and they're the only ones that can help. And so, of course, as we know, Enchantress can essentially suggest an idea.
Okay.
So she can just whisper something and suggest it. The person will believe it. And so she puts this into the ether. Oh, he's dying, but only the Avengers can save him. And so immediately they all kind of go, oh, you're dying. Only we can save you. And so Stark and Pym and Cap not even Cap, Thor all go to the laboratories and try to find and create this antidote for him. And so Simon returns to South America after this plot has, to lure the Avengers. He arrives at the base and immediately Janet is taken captive. And so after he's taken him back, after they arrive, he's still like, okay, I've done what you wanted me to do. Where's the antidote? And Zemo's still dangling it in front of him like a carrot on a stick. And so Simon takes on the entire team of Avengers on his own now. So he's turned the tables. He's like, okay, I'm desperate. If I want to live and I want to make it through the state, I have to defeat all of the Avengers. And he puts up one hell of a fight. And you have to remember, at that point in time, in 64, the Avengers consisted of Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and Goliath, and then Wasp was, again, captive. So he's taking on that Fab Four. And this is also the point in time where Thor would transform from Dr. Donald Blake. I don't know if you remember this, but
vaguely.
Yeah, he used to have this human alter ego, and so he would transform. And again, nobody knows that Iron Man is Tony Stark and vice versa. So it's a very interesting time early on in the Avengers lore. Eventually, and with Enchantress's help, the Avengers are defeated, but it's that crucial moment that Simon begins to doubt what he's really having difficulty realizing what he's done to this entire team, and that his life cost the world because they defeated the Avengers. Like, what has he done to save himself? And he's sacrificed all of the protection that the Avengers gave the world. Again, he flip-flops and he then goes against Baron Zemo and Enchantress and Executioner. It buys the Avengers just enough time to recover. It's so funny. They all get knocked out. Like, knocked out.
Yeah.
Like, Thor ends up going under a boulder. He can't get out. And then I think Cap was just downed by his own shield or something. Goliath, they all had these issues. And so they all get taken down. And thankfully, when Simon turned on Zemo, it bought them enough time to reemerge. And so they all come back. They all kind of gain their consciousness. And when all seems well, the Avengers realize, oh, what about Simon? Because Baron Zemo does exactly what you think he does. He's like, oh, my plan is foiled. I'm going to leave and I will fight another day.
Sure.
So he takes off and he actually, I think he ditched Enchantress or he ditched Executioner. He ditched one of them and it was like,
Sounds like a villain.
every man for himself.
Pretty much. He's like, gotta go.
Yeah, so he takes off, shock to no one. And so when all the dust clears, the Avengers are like, wait, what happened to Simon? And it seems with his last breath, he shares with Iron Man that not all is lost. So he's quite literally dying in Tony's arms at the end of the issue. And what?
It's just it's a funny image.
It's funny, right? It's very dramatic. And Iron Man says, Wonder Man, you sacrificed yourself to save us. Why? And Simon simply replies, perhaps every man dreams of doing one noble thing in his life. Now I can die knowing that I didn't live in vain. And Iron Man's like, die? Because they just thought it was a ruse. They thought the whole, oh, only they can save him was completely fake. But it wasn't. It was actually, he needs the antidote, and they actually could have helped him if they took it seriously.
Yeah.
And sad to say, that's the end of the issue. So he presumably dies at the end of his first appearance. And it's a cliffhanger as well. But he makes cameo flashback appearances in the issues after. And if you can believe it, it isn't until Avengers 102, damn near 10
102?
10 years later, that we see Simon again after this first
From
issue.
Avengers number 9 to Avengers 102?
Correct. And he's reintroduced in a comatose state at the beginning of what is like a slew of twists and turns in his lore.
Okay, you know what? So not to sidetrack,
Yeah.
but you know how people complain like recently in the movies where it's like, well, we haven't seen this person since this movie, and it's like, if the comics are doing that, like when people say like,
Exactly.
what happened to Shang-Chi? We haven't seen him since 2020.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, one.
And we won't be seeing him until what happened to him? Like, and I'm just like, I was in my head, I was like, okay, yeah, that does make sense because you want to tell the story a bit more, but you're also like, and then when you said tell this story, I'm like,
Yeah. So imagine Avengers number 9, 1964.
yeah,
First appearance, last appearance, right? Finally comes back in Avengers 102. 1972.
it's 93
Almost
issues later,
8 years.
and 93 Avengers
And
issues
93
later.
issues later, he finally comes back. Kind of.
Come on. Like we can't get mad then. Like
Right. That's
it's just like it's a thing that's clicking for me where I'm
Right.
like,
yeah.
we don't see these characters for like years at a time.
Years.
And then now in the comics, it's like they're not showing up until 90 plus comic issues later.
Do you know how much stuff happens?
Exactly. Like comics are released at that time.
Yeah.
They're released every month.
And even then, and sometimes
Twice in a month.
right? And even then, if that rule of five equals 1 is true, or to believe that all, that means even then, that was at least 2 years in the Avengers' life is that they did not have him around. At least 2 years.
So
And
we
that's
just
a long
ignored-
time.
It's just like, yeah.
It's a long time in comic lore. Yeah. So 10 years, almost 10 years, 8
That's
years.
just
It's wild, right? I'm curious to learn more about why that decision was made. And I think it has to do with they wanted to try something new, but weren't so sure where he was going to land.
how was the reception?
Right.
You know?
What was the reception going to be like? Is it really just to further Baron Zemo's plot, who of course is against Captain America. He's like one of Captain America's
I'm
biggest
I'm having a breakthrough in my mind right now, Dai.
Yeah, it's wild, right? Like,
because it's like the movies.
Yeah.
It's like you'll have a movie,
You just never
you'll
know.
throw in a cameo,
Yeah.
see how people like John Krasinski in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
So like, oh, how do people feel about this guy as
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then you'll never see him again because either it's good or it's bad or that's just not the direction they want to go in.
Right.
So in a comic books, it's like yeah, you can just create a story, draw it up, add a subplot like Wonder Man's is. Be like, all right, let's see how people recept to this
Exactly.
or receive this, and then it's like cool. There was probably a good 30% of people who read that issue were like, oh, Wonder Man, that's cool. I wonder when we'll see him again. 90 plus issues later.
No, exactly. And it's interesting because I think even in the next issue, they didn't open with a funeral or anything. They didn't say
just
like
moved on.
They just moved.
They moved on from that battle.
100%. It's kind of wild,
Dude.
Yeah, you're tripping out.
I am just like, it's just, like the MC movies are pretty much like comic books now.
Yeah.
So, dude, oh my God, I'm going to lose my
It's
mind.
crashing out. But yeah, it's great. It's great to think about it in that way and with that lens because it's also, it says a lot about our culture, right? Like you were just saying, like episodes, or actually I was talking to somebody else today that mentioned it and how episodes were weekly and people can't hang with that. But that's how we used to do it. That's how it used to be, right? And now everybody wants the immediacy of full series drop first day. Even though they're not going to watch it the entire time, they still want it. And so the immediacy has now turned into, well, I saw Shang-Chi in 2021. I want to see him in 2021 next quarter. I want to see him in the next movie.
Or see him in within the next 2 years.
Exactly. Everybody wants that immediacy.
This might be my next social video. It might be a rant talk. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But still related to Wonder Man. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm having a breakthrough right now.
And then, of course, on the other side of the fence, we do have Simon Williams in the MCU. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about him right now, where he is portrayed by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, as well as Cameron J. Meadows as a child, as well as Dane Larson as Brent Willard, the actor who played the title character in the original Wonder Man film.
Yes.
So there's like two personalities here. There's the theatrical version and then the actual IRL Simon Williams. And so first and only seen so far in 2026 is Wonder Man series created by Destin Daniel Cretton. Yeah, and so it is very interesting that
Speaking of Shang-Chi.
yeah, speaking of Shang-Chi, despite this character being a character from the 60s, he has only now emerged in any remote popularity. And, again, this is a character we haven't seen since the 70s in general, like in the height of his own popularity.
Yeah.
He's been trickled through, and we'll talk about it a little more later, but this is the real first true live action version we've ever seen. And we discussed Simon in great detail in our previous episode with the Wonder Man series review. And when it gets down to it, Simon Williams is one of many in Los Angeles, a budding actor looking for his big break, but in a world where the superpowered are shunned due to the doorman clause. As explained in episode 4,
So good.
Simon must hide his biggest secret, his ionic powers that manifested during a childhood accident. And of course, throwing Trevor Slattery and his involvement with the Department of Damage Control into the mix, Simon's journey is even harder. All of this leading to his ambition of portraying this generation's Wonder Man on screen. Yeah, so I mean, what else can we possibly say about this character? And at least, so from what we know about the comic book version so far, compare him to the MCU version. In your eyes, what does that look like? Do you see similarities already?
Well, similarities in I was also like looking at the Marvel wiki a bit about in the comics. The only thing that I can see that's the same is him being an actor.
Yes. Yeah.
he's
Those
like, okay.
personality traits for sure, but like his story isn't at all.
That
page
is,
for- frame for
like
frame.
Baron Zemo's obviously not in the show.
But you know what was crazy is that rereading these issues, thinking if they had put him into that. I was like, it'd be a little much.
It'd be much. It'd be a lot.
Because already adding Trevor
Yeah.
is already a lot.
Yeah.
So to then be like, and Baron Zemo help,
then and Baron Zemo recruiting him to fight the Avengers,
right?
Where we don't even have an Avengers
where we don't
now.
have an Avengers or anything. And also, that's not the MCU's Baron Zemo's MO. He's just not that same.
Yeah.
Ho ho, Captain America. You know, he's not that guy.
Yeah.
So it's never gonna feel right. You know what I mean? I keep forgetting I'm like, he has to have like an
Sokovian accent.
Sokovian accent, yeah. And so yeah, he's not the same, and therefore by proxy, Simon would not be the same.
Yes.
Because it kind of trickles down that vine that way, you know, which is really interesting if you think about it. And so that's why I think haters are dumb. You know what I mean? I simply
put that on a shirt.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's why they're dumb, because they're like, it's not like the comic books. And it's like, yeah.
I was like, if things
But-
I think we've said this before. If things were like the comic books, we would not take Marvel seriously.
No.
Like
It's
everything would look campy, everything would look gross, ugly.
It would just be it would be a whole other landscape.
Yeah.
Because also, again, first appearance, second appearance does not happen for another 8 years. Like there's so much filler and so much happening at all times in comics. It's like to follow them frame for frame is a lot of work, and also there's a lot of world building in that. People aren't gonna hang with that. They can barely hang with episodes dropping weekly. You know, like, there's no way that.
And they complain about episodes dropping all at once.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm like, what do you want?
Right. And so that's why I think it is the dialogue of like, oh, it's not comic accurate is an interesting and kind of like tired kind of mentality, because why would you ever think Baron Zemo is going to come in and shoot him with ionic rays?
Yeah.
And that's how he becomes like, you know.
Well, I mean, they use, that's the other like comparison to the comics is, what I just said. Oh, it was him being an actor.
Yeah.
And then them using the term ionic energy.
Right.
But
that's it.
But everything else, to fill in the gaps, we don't know yet.
Very original.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Like this series, this first season was literally like 30% of Simon, like Wonder Man. But we don't know anything like about his backstory. We know bits and pieces, but it's just
very generic family relationships, but we don't know any of the other stuff.
We don't know his purpose. We don't know why he got his power. Like literally know nothing about him. Barely.
Which I think is also very compelling for this version of the character.
Yeah.
Because again, they give you enough that you kind of put things together. But yeah, to your point, there's no definitive reason for XYZ. We don't know yet.
He doesn't even know. All he knows is that he wants to be an actor, but he's quote unquote cursed with these powers. Like he doesn't even know.
Yeah. Exactly.
But now he's realizing, oh, I can use this, for good. Maybe all he used it for. It wasn't even for good or bad. It was just like, I need to save my friend. Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like we do not know his purpose.
Yeah.
At all.
We've only begun to scrape the surface of the super powered Simon Williams.
Yeah.
We've gotten to know regular Simon Williams. But super powered? Oh, brother. We got a long journey ahead. And yeah, I hope they finally greenlight the season, because we haven't heard anything yet. But the discussion and the word on the street was that they were very close to greenlighting, which would be great, because we didn't get an Ironheart season 2 or She-Hulk season 2 or a Moon Knight season 2 so it'd be nice to see somebody like Simon get another season. But we'll see, I guess. And so before we moved on, I wanted to share a fun fact. And so this is via Comic Book Resources. And so Jim Shooter, who is an acclaimed creator in the comic world, he had heard that when Marvel introduced Wonder Man, that DC had complained. And so whether true or not, that was the impression that Shooter was working under at the time. So he was mightily irked when DC then introduced a Power Girl after Marvel had changed Luke Cage's name officially to Power Man. Therefore, he was intent on bringing Wonder Man back, which happened in Avengers number 151. So this is essentially like the comparison of, there was Wonder Woman already. and they're playing ball, right? You got to remember, Marvel and DC were like, we're playing ball, we're both competing, we're taking these names, we're taking these names. And so DC had long created Wonder Woman, but there was no Wonder Man. And so Marvel was like, take it before they take it.
Wow.
Then created Wonder Man. And then it's kind of like the Hawkeye and the Green Lantern,
Yes.
not Green Lantern, Green Arrow thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and so the rivalry continues on, even in Wonder Man form, which is kind of funny. And yeah, Luke Cage used to be known as Power Man, so they created the Power Girl.
Add man to after every adjective you can think of.
Pretty much. So when it comes down to aesthetics, we have a few comparisons on our shared doc, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
Where you can see these homages that have popped up in the series. Very notable green, yellow, and red attire, as well as the turtleneck and the red coat and the classic Wonder Man outfit itself that Simon dons, and the red glasses, of course.
So good.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking comic accurate through and through, and I love Easter eggs like that because you can't even you wouldn't even know the turtleneck was like a thing.
Yeah.
But it's such a strong homage that you're just like, oh wow, they went there. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But they did well, and I'm glad that society is accepting the comic book look more.
Mm-hmm.
I think Deadpool and Wolverine really pulled a solid for everybody with Wolverine in the yellow, because I feel like that was the turning point that people were like, yes, that's what we want.
Like, yes, comic
We
accurate
want
costume.
yeah, and then we were blessed with the Fantastic Four, and so yeah, I think they got to do more of that stuff. They stayed true with Wonder Man, and so when it came to the costumes of Wonder Man, Destin Daniel Cretton kept it in the family and hired his own sister, Joy Cretton, as the series costume manager. And she also served as assistant costume manager in Destin's first Marvel project, speaking of Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, Legend of the 10 Rings. And so she's been with him since he essentially started in Marvel. So she's very much to thank for Simon's look in the series.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I will say one distinct difference due to Simon's powers, which we're about to talk about, is that in the comics, he's goggled up most of the time. So whenever you see him in the comics, he's always got the literally looks like goggles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because his ionic power is so intense in the comics, his eyes are almost always red and black. Always. But it's more of like a, how do I even describe this? It's more of like a cosmic thing. Oh, here, I have a screenshot. And so you're going to see a familiar face in these panels. And so Beast, we'll talk about. Yeah, so Simon's eyes are just straight up
My God.
ionic energy. Yeah, and so he can control it long enough that they look normal, but for short periods of time.
Got it.
So that's why he wears the goggles all the time. Whereas in the series, he's vice versa.
Yeah.
He's normal until his powers start to
because he can't control his
Right,
powers. Yes.
exactly. And so the red glasses are more of like, oh, it's a fashion statement.
Yeah.
And so speaking of powers, Simon's physiology, we're gonna get into it with this one, but we've talked about this a little bit in our previous episode. But Simon's physiology was augmented due to an ionic ray bombardment. Again, thanks to Zemo, empowering him with an ionic energy form. And so there have been some changes over the years concerning Simon's inner workings, even suggesting he is now fully composed of energy itself beneath the surface, and he's no longer a typical human. Like, there's no blood. He's just straight up ionic energy beneath the surface. And so with these powers
Don't get me started.
Jeff is getting comfortable. Here we go. With the powers come superhuman strength, speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, and senses, as well as invulnerability, flight, self-powered augmentation, and power fluctuation, resurrection empowerment, immortality, which he can self-resurrect and self-sustain, ionic regenerative healing, energy manipulation with nuances of shape and size shifting, power recycling, as well as teleportation.
Dude. They just all do that.
But his are particularly unique in ways,
I mean,
right?
from what the shows suggest,
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, this guy's
unstoppable
Right.
being.
Yeah. And yet not in a Sentry way, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because easily said, Sentry is the Superman, right?
Pretty
He's
much.
the Superman. But when you look at Wonder Man, it's like, oh, he's super strong, but you don't get that sense of he's like that.
Invincible or just,
He's just like unstoppable is a great word for it.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And so in the MCU, he's far less developed, at least so far, but he holds formidable power, even if he's unaware of the source of said power. Nevertheless, he possesses ionic energy manipulation, which includes superhuman strength, durability, and speed, as well as flight, force field generation, and ionic disruption.
Yeah, because we didn't even see him fight anybody. Only like hand-to-hand combat in the alley that one time, but never seen him use his powers to fight.
Yeah, displays of power, but not powers. Never powers.
If you had to choose a hero that would mentor him,
Oh, mentor?
I guess not mentor, but like show the ropes of heroism and or his powers.
Yeah.
Like if there was someone in the MCU
Oh my gosh.
right now that you think he has a good chance of either running into or learning from, who do you think it'd be?
Weirdly enough, I want to say the Defenders.
Really?
I think they'd be great, like teaching him how, like every one of them. I mean, all four, like not just Jessica and Luke, but I mean Iron Fist and Daredevil too, because like it's interesting. His powers manifest in such a way that he doesn't know how to control it, right?
Yes.
And so it's not necessarily about controlling a special power.
Yeah,
it's controlling the power beneath that.
And
I feel
not denying what you have. Yeah.
And I feel like Jess and Luke could really help him with that.
Mm.
Whereas Danny and Matt, I talk about them like I know them. I mean, Daredevil follows me on Twitter, and so does Jessica Jones, so whatever. Actually, all three of them do, except for Iron Fist. That's why he sucks. Anyway, I feel like they could all cover that. Like, I feel like Daredevil and Iron Fist in particular would be able to help him like hone in and focus a little more.
Yeah.
Whereas Jess and Luke can take on the more brute strength aspect of it.
Yes.
And they're all street people.
True.
I mean,
any West Coast heroes?
West Coast.
I mean, I feel like there's a good amount of collection people on West Coast now, right? Now, am I tweaking?
Shang-Chi.
In the Bay.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man's and yeah. Who else? Wow, who else?
I mean, Kate Bishop is supposed to be what we don't know if she is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Or maybe he is the one that forms the West Coast Avengers.
Well, we're actually going to talk about that in a little bit.
Because I was like reading that on the wiki and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
WCA.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. But, you know.
Yeah, I don't know who otherwise. I mean, it would be unlikely. Like, if I were to choose anybody but street level, like Doctor Strange-ish type of people,
Yeah.
it would probably be like, I don't know, like probably Viz and Wanda.
Sure.
To be honest.
Yeah, I wonder who will be the first MCU hero.
Or dare I say, Cyclops.
Wow. Hey, they look the same with the red
The eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do wonder who will be the first MCU hero
Yeah.
that Simon Williams runs into.
Actually, encounters on a real level. Oh, that'd be so interesting. And hopefully we will get to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the meantime, we'll dive into his backstory a bit more with family, friends, and affiliations, starting with, of course, his parents, Sanford and Martha Williams. Sanford was a successful industrialist who founded and managed a Stark Industries rival munitions factory called Williams Innovations in Paterson, New Jersey, just like I said up top. And so Sanford was particularly hard on their first son, Eric, raising him in a cold, calculated manner. So he was kind of like, who else was it? We recently talked about somebody who was also raised very cold. But, you know, when it's nature versus nurture, right? In these cases where if it was Silver Surfer, that Norrin Radd, his father, after his mother offed herself, unalived herself, Norrin's father raised him in such a cold, educated, intellectual manner that he grew to be kind of stoic all the time. And the same could be said about Sanford and how he raised Eric. And so, unwilling to allow a repeat of their first child, Martha took it upon herself to raise their second son, Simon, longing to ensure a more nurturing upbringing. So where dad was the harsh, tough business guy,
Yes.
mom was more soft and, knowledgeable and nurturing. And so they were essentially reflections of their parents. And although Sanford primed Eric to become the heir of the family business, Eric refused, and Simon would eventually take the helm, even though he was not at all a man that his father ideally want him to be.
Yeah.
And so, ironically enough, in the comics, Eric caused the tragic accident that would burn the family home down, leading to Sanford's death.
Wow.
And although it was initially presumed Martha also died in the fire, cameos thereafter proved otherwise. So that's what the screenshot.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what the screenshot is. You see two panels and it says, "My fault. You killed them, Eric. I couldn't help it. It was my destiny. It was an accident they set up for you." And so we're going to talk about this a little later when we get into Eric's story. But yeah, so similarly yet dissimilarly. Like it's there's a fire,
Yeah.
but in the comics, Eric caused it and the dad actually died. And so we were actually theorizing about whether or not Sanford died because of the fire that Simon started. So now it's
Yeah.
like,
I was just thinking that, but then I was also like, I don't know, because when they went to the doctor to get him checked, his mom I felt like if their dad had died, it would have been a much bigger deal. Like she wouldn't have been at the doctor oh my god, is it
Right.
fine?
Like-
I just feel like
right. And I think that's a great perception because
That's
that
me.
suggests he died. That suggests he did die before all that happened. And so it's kind of like another tragedy of the family because I don't think he would have just not gone. Like he had to have been
and the
dead by
mom
then.
felt kind of not happy, but more so like relieved.
Yeah.
So I just feel like she wasn't in a place of grief.
Right.
She was just like, oh my god, like my son's okay, like da 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 da, instead of being like,
Oh
my god, my husband
Yeah.
died, or like you're the reason,
Right, exactly.
So-
Yeah, so I think that's a great thing to note when it comes to the MCU version. Which, speaking of, Sanford and Martha are very present in this Wonder Man series, portrayed by Bashir Sylvain and Shola Adewusi, respectively, and first and last seen in said series. And so, of course, we learn the details about Simon's family over multiple episodes, but unfortunately, it's not clear why. Simon's father died in the MCU, as we just said, though pieces come together in micro doses. I think they're just going baseline, he just passed away. Nothing crazy, no plot.
Yeah.
He just died, and it happened, and then the more nitty-gritty story is going to be behind the fire, eventually.
Yeah.
Simon's parents otherwise play a major role in the MCU, though the differences are quite obvious from the comics. There is no, well, at least to our knowledge, there's no Williams Innovations in Paterson, New Jersey. They didn't even derive there. They're from
Pacoima
and and Haiti. And so, yeah, it's a very different background, and so we should expect it's going to be different for the most part. And so we just spoke about him very briefly, but another one of Simon's confidants in the comics is, surprisingly enough, Henry McCoy, the Beast, from X-Men lore. And so from what I understand and what I have read is that the 70s were kind of a heyday for Beast. And so he'd become increasingly more popular with the X-Men movement because by this point he had grown the blue fur.
Yeah.
Because he was not blue before. We have to remember that.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
just bulky. But after he became blue, it kind of gave the character more depth and nuance. And so they kind of leaned more into a more comedic, friendly, kind of inviting Beast, whereas before he was very intelligent and structured and, still playful, but more grounded,
Yes.
And so when he was in the Avengers, which is part of why he's even present, these two became buds. They're basically homies. And so it's a camaraderie that endured decades. And the two even became roommates as recent as 2024 in the comics. And so their personalities and their experiences, both shared and unique, are contributing to their chemistry. So they have this history behind them of being on these teams, being different than other people, but also learning from each other of like, oh man, you know, this one time I had to go through this. Oh, well, I went through the same, but different, you know? And so they've become friends, like genuine friends. And so fun fact, I just thought this was so interesting because it says a lot about the maturity and the evolution of comics in general. In Avengers number 14, it's volume 3, I believe, and so it's much later, released in 1999, Beast and Wonder Man shared the first on-panel kiss between two male superheroes in mainstream Marvel comic book history. Though platonic, it would be another decade before a romantic gay kiss shared by Richter and Shatterstar would occur in X Factor number 45.
Talk about heated mutants.
Yeah, you
Hell
know?
Yeah.
Heated Marvel rivalry.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the character had been out for 35 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
By that point, and I have the panel for you. And so the context is that Beast had gone back to the X-Men and then came to visit the Avengers, and he was so excited. He was like, "Where is he? Where is my friend?" And he found his friend and laid a big one on him.
Nice.
He like toppled over the tables, and everyone's like, "We understand you missed him, but relax." And he was like, "I just missed my friend." And so yeah, first two male kiss, although platonic, so fun. But unfortunately, we have no crossover with Henry McCoy in the MCU, where he's portrayed by Kelsey Grammer. Most recently, as well as what's his name, Lex Luthor. But yeah, no crossover. I don't know that they're gonna go there.
At this point, literally anything is possible.
Truly, because I mean, although we don't know the state of X-Men and Avengers and whether there's going to be an X-Men versus Avengers, you know, that will inform what happens to these characters.
Yes.
But I don't think they're gonna. Maybe they'll give us a little something, but I don't think it'll be comic accurate. Speaking of, then there's Trevor Slattery, who, would you believe it, Jeff? There's no comic book counterpart for Trevor Slattery. Though he will be introduced in an upcoming Wonder Man series penned by Jerry Duggan with art by Mark Buckingham.
Wow.
So, although he's not here yet, Trevor Slattery is coming to 616. And on the other side of the fence, we do have him very much present in the MCU, where he's portrayed by Sir Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, it's just still like insane.
It's so incredible to me. I'm just like, I
That's an actor right there.
again, it's like we said in the episode, he's an actor.
Exactly.
Right? And he's been in the MCU game since Iron Man 3, 2013.
Yes.
And so we do have him there, and yeah, despite their wavering dynamic in the series, these two are undoubtedly friends at the root of it all, which is a testament of both the characters. You know, as I'm thinking about it right now, I almost feel like they kind of pulled some of the attributes of their dynamic from Beast and Wonder Man and put it into Trevor. Because, you know, he is kind of like tutoring him, but also like just he's an older gentleman that has been through things, and he's sharing his experiences with the unexperienced younger man. And so it kind of gives off a little dynamic there. And we'll discuss this further in a moment, but Trevor and Simon's meeting wasn't merely by chance, of course. And, you know, their love for film, their cinephilism. Slattery was tapped by the DODC with the intention of uncovering Simon's superpowered secret in the MCU. And thankfully, by the end of the series, their bond only became stronger. And, you know, you can just listen to our Wonder Man series review to hear all about that. Again, I love their chemistry. Very unexpected. Definitely
It works.
It works.
It works.
Because I can't tell you enough. I was just like, I'm struggling to find the connection. Aside to being an actor, I was struggling to find the like connection point, right? But then once you get into it, you're like, oh,
makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah. Perfect sense. And yeah, it made for some good television. But so I'm curious to see how that's going to affect him in the comics. Because again, Wonder Man has kind of been in and out of the fold. Like he's been around, but never so prominently that he's getting a solo series. You know what I mean? And so for that to happen in this day and age is very interesting. And so I'm curious what comic book Trevor is going to be like, because it's an open playing field. They can do whatever they want with him.
I know, and it's like, do you keep them together at all times now? I think obviously you have to. That's what the series kind of makes it seem like.
Sticking together.
Yeah. So it's always going to be Simon and Trevor.
Is it bad that I think he might die the next time we see him? He might be the thing, right?
If it needs to happen.
You haven't said it in a while.
For stakes. Look, there's always things at stake.
Yeah.
So if Trevor has to be one of them, hey.
Yeah. I feel like
as long as it makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey.
Amen. Honestly. Yeah. So we'll see what happens for both of those duos. And then there is another familiar name that we'll discuss. Vision. I didn't know quite where to place Viz in all of this, all things considered, because I'm like, he's not an adversary. Not really, right? He's not a friend. Yeah. So I kind of just stuck him in here because he is affiliated with him. But it was revealed in issue 58 of Avengers. This was Vision's second appearance. So this is the original title, that the brain patterns of a dying Simon Williams, when he was dying at the end of that first appearance, they were preserved by big brainiacs Hank Pym and Iron Man, knowing that while Simon's body was dying, perhaps he could, quote unquote, live another day in another form, as I believe Tony said. So they kind of, like I mentioned before, even though they cold ended that issue and just moved on thereafter, in the subsequent like flashbacks, they bring you back to that moment. And when Simon is dying, they then show what Hank and Tony were doing. And they're like, oh, we're going to copy your brainwaves. We're going to put them away and make sure that you're fine. And this was a slight alteration to the original ending in that issue. And so now they recollected and updated it with Vision's arrival. So they've kind of rehashed the story. And again, this is almost 50 issues later. So they've kind of, and I've said this before in multiple episodes, that they take this origin story and then as time passes and it gets passed on to other writers and creators, they start adding their own stuff to the mix. And so by the time Viz came around, Simon's origin had then manifested to, oh, he didn't totally die. They had his brainwaves preserved, and also his body is still alive somewhere in a comatose state. And so they then updated it even more and created this insane storyline where Pym created Ultron based on his brain patterns.
That's crazy.
To which Ultron 5 evolved so much that he created Vision using Wonder Man's brain patterns, because it was kind of like, oh, there was this cartridge, I'm going to take it and use the brain patterns, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it was like it was convenient. Like he just happened upon this disc or whatever you want to call it that had Simon's brainwaves, and he put them into Viz, which, that kind of complicates things.
That is crazy.
And so that's where the lore of, oh, Simon's brain is in Vision, but it's not necessarily so. It just helped build a database in Vision's brain that helped him understand human characteristics. Otherwise, he would have been just unfeeling, uncrying, unmoved, and not understanding why human's human. And so I saved this screenshot in particular because I thought it was funny. And so he's an android. Yeah. But the human brainwaves from Simon affected Vision so much that even an android can cry.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
that's where that's from.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Very interesting. So, otherwise he would just be he would be like Ultron, where he doesn't...
doesn't really have any emotions.
Yeah, which is funny because he's copied off of Hank Pym.
Yeah.
But they were made for different reasons, and also, it's an interesting composition. Wow. So they're all related.
Yeah.
By proxy, they're all related. So Hank and Ultron and then Viz and Simon are all related.
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's definitely a botched short version of the story.
What if he's in Vision Quest?
That was exactly what I was going to say next.
Wow.
Because
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. No, I'm glad you did because it makes sense, right? It kind of makes. We don't know anything about Vision Quest yet, and where is Simon going to come back? Where is he going to come from?
Yeah.
Where are we going to see him next? We don't know.
Oof.
And so that brings us to Vision in the MCU, portrayed by Paul Bettany, of course. And so there is no MCU crossover. ... Yet, because there's room there.
It's definitely possible.
It's possible, especially given the plot holes, the intentional plot holes that we're left with in Simon's case.
Yes.
And then it's also like, from what I recall at the end of WandaVision, when we got to know White Vision, right?
Yes.
He was does not compute, doesn't understand human emotion at all.
Mm-hmm.
So how is he going to recalibrate with human aspects? Could be somebody that helps.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know. It's a little stretch. It is.
It is a stretch, but it's like, look, we'll never know until it happens. So
Right.
keep a lookout.
We'll see. So yeah, we'll see if there's any crossover. I think crossover is inevitable for these two in particular. Beast is a little more far-fetched, but with Vision and of course Wanda, who we're going to talk about shortly, I think it's inevitable that they're going to put something in there. They're not going to just leave it in the dust. But I mean, it's also same could be said for Sue, Namor, and Reed. But
Yeah.
we don't know yet. We'll never know until it happens or doesn't. So we'll see shortly, hopefully. And so speaking of WCA, West Coast Avengers, after becoming a member of the original Avengers, Simon would later move on to help co-found what would become the WCA. And so that particular team, of course, based in Los Angeles, would consist of Hawkeye, Mockingbird, Tigra, Wonder Man, and Iron Man, but Rhodey, not Tony.
Wow.
Yeah, so this was the period in time where Tony Stark was not in the picture and Rhodey took on the helm, which you can hear in our Rhodey episode, War Machine. And similar to Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the West Coast Avengers were exactly that. They were just the West Coast chapter of the heroic team, initially suggested by Vision, who wanted to expand the influence. So in the comics, they essentially have a chairman. They designate a chairman to be the lead of the Avengers. And so they make the decisions, they call the shots. And so in this particular scenario, Vision was the chairman of the Avengers and said, I would like to expand our reach. I think we should go to the West Coast. And so they create a West Coast Avengers. And it's that team. And so debuting in 1984, Simon would eventually leave the team nearly 10 years later in publication, so probably about 2 or 3, 4 years in canon, and he wanted to further pursue his acting career. So he was like, this has been fun, but I want to act.
Yeah.
I want to be a stuntman, so I'm going to go do that. So that's what he does.
Wow.
And it's kind of peppered in throughout Simon's history.
Yeah.
He's an actor and he wants to do these things, but he's still superhearing because the interesting caveat about his powers is that why not? Might as well.
Yeah.
And
Can't get hurt. He can do whatever. He can do whatever.
Exactly. And so he's able to do that. So he left the team. And so as for the MCU, there's no MCU counterpart of the West Coast Avengers just yet. But there are certainly characters that have been introduced.
They're
in
out there.
Latest phases, that could inevitably help create the MCU version. And so it was interesting because I saw a few tweets fly by and people were putting screenshots of like who should be on the WCA. And of course it included Kate Bishop because if you recall, Kate Bishop actually ends up in Santa Monica.
Really?
Yeah, she's in Santa Monica now. And so she goes back to New York, of course, but that's like her station. That's where she's now a PI. And so it could involve all these characters that we've already been introduced to, but I don't know. Cause like if we're supposed to learn anything from Thunderbolts is that they don't necessarily rebrand well.
Yeah.
They just keep them as Avengers. They don't want to bring in, because there's also Great Lakes Avengers for the record, and they're stationed up between Canada and the border. And so there's 3 sanctions right there, a triangulation of Avengers teams.
There you go.
Coverage, yeah. So I don't know if we'll see it, but First and foremost, people want to see young Avengers.
Yes.
So if we get there, then it's a good start. And so I wanted to clarify, before we move on, I wanted to clarify, for the record, there was no Barnaby in the comics. And so he was entirely created for the film within the Wonder Man series. So the whole Barnaby thing is really just trope. Nice little, let's put in a
little
sidekick.
Yeah.
For the Wonder Man film in the Wonder Man series. So yeah, no Barnaby. But if there's a Trevor in the comics now, perhaps there can be a Barnaby as well. So we'll move on to love interests. And although the likes of Abigail Brand and Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, as well as Bobby Morse, Mockingbird, could have honorable mentions, Simon's list of genuine romantic interests is rather short. Starting with Vivian, who first and foremost has no comic book counterpart as far as the 616 is concerned. However, she is portrayed in the MCU by Olivia Thirlby, first and last seen in the Wonder Man series. And as previously discussed in our review, Vivian was Simon's partner in the series who abruptly leaves at the very beginning, and we don't get to learn more about her until nearly the end, which is pretty much episode 7 of 8 for the record. And all we know about her is that she was a budding actor, and you get the gist of their dynamic in fragments and what ultimately broke their relationship, which was Simon's secret, and he didn't want to tell her. And she took issue with that, which rightfully so.
Yeah.
And but all around, Vivian was a neutral, balanced character. And so again, while there's no comic book counterpart for this character, when I wrote this down, I was like, did I just stumble on something? There is a notable Vivian in comic canon whose name is Vivian Vision, Vision's daughter. I don't think so. But it's interesting.
Funny.
They could have easily picked any other name. I called her Victoria in our episode. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was Victoria. It's Vivian. So why would they, is that another Easter egg? Or
maybe it's just an Easter egg and that's it.
It's gotta be an Easter egg, yeah.
And then or it does mean something, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's an Easter egg. I don't think that there's going to be anything more, because that turns into a whole other thing where Vision created a family. But yeah, I don't think they're going to go there. But I thought it was a neat little, I was like, oh, that's a cool winky dink.
Yeah.
But nothing more there. And that brings us to the big one that most people are familiar with to some point, which is Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch.
My Goral.
Your Goral.
My Goral.
And so in the comics, Wanda fell in love with Viz, who at the time was carrying around Simon's brain pattern in his database, learning and feeding off of the emotion and sentiment recorded. So imagine, if you will, if Wanda's falling in love with Vision, is she falling in love with Vision, or is she falling in love with Simon's impression within Vision? And so Wanda and Vision eventually married in the comics, and Simon returned. So he had been away. This is when he went off to go be an actor and do his thing. Comes back to the Avengers and is like, oh, you're married now. Got it.
That's unfortunate.
You married the toaster. Got it. You know what I mean? And so it's very interesting, because to me, I didn't read romantic between Simon and Wanda. It's there, but it's not like a full
anything to bring Wanda back. You don't have to convince me.
See, I mean, she's another one, right?
That's what I'm saying.
For her reemergence. Where, when, and where with who?
Don't care.
Right. And so in the 1989 run of West Coast Avengers is where we see many of the Easter eggs planted in WandaVision. And so Vision's database was essentially wiped after a major incident, and he was more or less disassembled, even stripped of his exterior skin. So, Geoffrey, tell me, does this look at all familiar? With Vision sprawled out in pieces on a table, and Wanda's like, what have they done to you?
Oh my God.
Right? Pulled out straight from the comics.
Yeah.
Very similar situation, and they wiped his mind. Just like in the show. Same thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they removed his skin and everything. And so although they're able to put Viz back together again, As you can, I'll show you in a second. Although they're able to put Viz back together again, he lacks a distinct brainwave. The distinct brainwaves initially provided by Simon. So he was wiped.
Mm-hmm.
He's back to just an android state. And in an act of desperation, Wanda begs Simon to allow Hank to make another copy of his brainwaves to put into Vision because he has since become White Vision.
Whoa.
Because they took his skin off. They couldn't put it back together, so they gave him a fresh coat of skin.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
So there's nothing going on
The
up there.
fact that we know nothing about Vision Quest
I know.
is
Not even
so
BTS.
insane.
Nothing. So
Not
they
even
must have
yeah.
filmed it all interior. All of it was inside. There's not even one leak from that show.
So amazing.
Yeah. So White Vision, no Simon, so he's just an android, right?
Yeah.
So Wanda begs Simon, and he's like, I'm sorry, but I cannot. I refuse. And so he more or less says, the first time I didn't have a choice. Now that I have a choice, I don't want to. And she is so devastated by this revelation, she drops a rock slide all over him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like she always does.
Yeah, exactly. But before she did that, that's the moment that he actually admits to like harboring feelings for her. So that's when you kind of get, oh, got it. So you were interested in her all this time.
Yeah.
And you didn't say a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's like, it's kind of a jealousy thing too, you know, because she did marry Viz.
Yeah.
So that's her husband. And so in continuity, Viz and Wanda eventually separate, and then Simon finally got his chance in later years. And they inevitably broke it off for good about 3 years later in publication because they felt they were just better as friends. They were, as Wanda calls it, they were just like old friends.
Old buddies.
Old buddies. And so some screenshots for you, Jeff. Them fighting over her. This is in the 90s.
I mean,
now.
I get it. Who wouldn't?
Wonder Man and the Vision head to head. And yeah, they yelling at each other. It's funny because like Viz goes as far as to be like, you like jazz. You enjoy its elegant, complex rhythms, its improvisation.
You like jazz?
Exactly. And Simon's like, huh? Like what? Like it's gotten down to this part of jealousy. And he calls him brother, and it triggers Vision. And they just get into fights.
He just like me. I call everyone brother.
You don't understand. Yeah.
Why do I feel like this is the most realistic scenario
It is, right? With the
to
toaster.
happen in MCU?
Yeah.
Like with
Very
Wonder,
interesting.
like for Wonder Man and Vision.
Wanda and Vision? I think it'd be awesome, actually. I think it would be rad. Like it makes so. I'm curious how they would do the brainwave thing,
Yeah.
but I think it's pretty solid if you ask me.
But I still want the House of M.
Oh yeah, no,
Wanda
undoubtedly.
line.
Undoubtedly. I mean, it could all be connected. I guess. Yeah, and so this is where I'm showing Jeff screenshots from Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers, number 51. Or in continuity, number 466, where it shows a very loving Wonder Man and Scarlet Witch. The dialogue that transpires between them is very sweet because for him, he admits why he did love her. And he says, for me, I guess it was that you'd always been the perfect, unattainable woman. And then she says, I'd die for you, Simon. You know that. I do love you. And he says, and I love you, too. It's just what it turned out to be. It wasn't the kind of love either of us thought. More like, to which Wanda says, more like, what we really are is old friends.
Oof.
And he says, I like the sound of that. So they reciprocate
Hey.
the fact they care about each other, but
Hey.
strictly platonic.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, the unattainability, man, that's the story of the ages, right? It's kind of how the Jean Grey and Logan and Scott Summers love triangle comes to be.
Yeah.
She's fully unattainable until she's not. And that's why Logan was into her, and that's why Jean was into Logan. But we'll talk about them eventually. We got some time before we start getting into that territory. But yeah, so that's the love story of Wanda and Simon. It's not much of a love story at all. It involves Vision, but for them, yeah, and they don't really, because he's an actor. You see many girls on Simon's arm throughout the series, but he's never actually had like a definitive partner. He's never had
like he's not known to be with someone.
It's always been Wanda, the imagination and the vision of Wanda, if you will. Yeah. So in the MCU, of course, we have Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, portrayed by Geoffrey's wife, Elizabeth Olsen.
Bring her back.
Last seen in 2022's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of
2022 already?
Unless you want to count Agatha, but I don't, because it's just feetsies. It might not even been her. Yeah, so we have not seen Wanda in nearly 4 years. Actually, I think it's this month. Yeah.
You might be right.
Yeah, and so we don't have a crossover yet, but I think it is a yet. I think it's inevitable that we'll see some intermingling of Vision and Wanda and Wonder Man. To what extent? Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see eventually, hopefully. As for notable adversaries, I wanted to give honorable mentions for Mephisto, Kang, as well as Doctor Doom. All of them which have been they're nuisances. It's the same thing that we say all the time.
Yeah.
They're these characters that come in, they're recurring, they like to cause trouble, and then they leave. However, there are a couple in particular that we're going to discuss in this particular episode. The first being, of course, Baron Helmut Zemo. And it's only natural that the villain present during Simon's introduction ended up being one of his main adversaries. Zemo's comic lore easily one intertwined with the likes of Cap and the Avengers. And so this is brief, but although their overlap occurs most in the beginning of Simon's journey, Zemo is just one of those villains whose roots dig deep within multiple heroes' backstories, like many great villains. So he's had a hand in so many different heroes, not necessarily creation, but their coming of heroism. He's kind of at behind the scenes, like playing wizard. You know what I mean? And so, so he's, again, as we talked about in Powers and in the origin, he's much to thank in a weird way for Simon being who he is now. And he's a nuisance. He's Baron Zemo. Whereas in the MCU, Baron Helmut J. Zemo is portrayed by Daniel Bruhl, first seen in 2016's Captain America Civil War. 10 years, brother.
Wow.
10 years. And he was last seen in 2021's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, as well as Marvel Zombies, where he was voiced by Rama Valuri. So yeah, we haven't seen Zemo in 5 years.
Crazy.
I think he's done. Mostly. He's on the raft, right?
Yeah.
No, he's in Wakanda. Sorry. He's in Wakanda.
Yes. Yes. Because it also, he's like a character that can just pop up anytime.
He could, yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if he's got any place with Simon in the MCU, but again, like Geoffrey said, anything could happen. And so this next villain that we're going to talk about is perhaps the most compelling of all because of multiple reasons. But there is also this adversary in the comics that goes by the name Grim Reaper, aka Eric Williams.
His brother?
His brother.
Eric!
So, again, Simon was the younger of two sons with an older brother named Eric, as they've adapted in the MCU. However, in the comics, Eric had a bit more mischief to him, so much so that he was actually the one who suggested Simon embezzle from their father's company to begin with. It was his idea. And Simon was like, okay, well, I guess I got to do what my brother tells me.
Sure.
But he got caught with his hand in the pot. So after Simon's seemingly death by poison in Avengers number 9, Eric resurfaces in issue 52, introduced as the Grim Reaper, who is very much this person you see here. He's got this crazy headdress.
That is a crazy.
He's got skull
crossbones. Hilarious.
He's got a scythe for a sickle for a hand. And
okay, he has a lot going on.
He's got a lot.
He's got a lot going on.
The sickle thing is like laced with poison. So if he slashes anybody, immediate death, right? And he's just crazy. He's crazy banana pants. So after he resurfaces, he's hell bent on seeking revenge on the Avengers for letting his brother die. So it's very interesting because it's like he comes in as a villain, really, really hot. Like, you killed my brother, I'm gonna get revenge. But it's also like, oh, he's getting revenge for his brother. I mean, that's cool, right? But again, he's crazy banana pants because he then later resorts to voodoo magic at the hands of an adversary named Black Talon to help resurrect Simon. So there's this is again, it comes so late after the original storyline, right? We're talking again, this cover is from 102, right? So this is years later. This is 8 years later at least. Gosh. And so Eric, when Eric tried to resurrect Simon, he quite literally, they go to the bayous of New Orleans, and Simon is a walking zombie. Because his brainwaves are gone.
Yes.
So he's just staggering around and just saying the same thing over and over again. And so Black Talon was essentially like dutied with, hey, bring him back to normal. But thankfully, Simon does it on his own. Like his living state actually it increases and evolves the more he's awake again. So, I mean, that's something we're not going to get into. But Eric then becomes a recurring villain of sorts, reemerging when anything regarding his brother surfaces, putting him directly against the members of the Avengers in the process. So if Wonder Man is anywhere in any proximity, he pops up. He's like, brother, I'm going to get revenge on you. And you never know, like, why?
Yeah.
He's just there to cause trouble because of his brother.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I'm like, oh, they were just off the rails on some of these issues. And it isn't until Avengers 160 that the brothers meet once again after Simon's initial death and then the subsequent zombie-like state until his full revival. And then little did Simon realize that his brother had turned into a full-blown bigoted maniac because, to Simon's credit, he did not know this was his brother.
Yes.
He just imagined his brother the way he remembered him, not as this black and purple suited crazy person. So once he realizes, he's like, no, you can't possibly be, and it just turns into another tragedy of his life. But yeah, so he turns into a recurring adversary of sorts for Simon, but nothing too crazy. Again, it's not like a Green Goblin scenario. I keep using Green Goblin as a like a basis for things, but it is kind of the archetype of villain.
Yeah.
So Eric Williams in the MCU, portrayed by Demetrius Gross and Elias E. Fowler as a child. We've only seen a fraction of him so far, and it is I believe episode 4 and 7.
Yeah, in Pacoima.
In Pacoima.
The Pacoima episode.
Yeah, and then a little bit at the very end. But yeah, we for those who know about Reaper, they're curious if they're eventually going to pit him against his brother. Again, this is another situation where I'm like, I think it's just more of an homage than it is.
Yeah, it's just like he's a dude who runs his own. What was his company business? Insurance.
He's like insurance, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
It's like
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's
what?
a guy who provides for his mom more than Simon does, and
unless they distinctly were like he provides like health insurance or life insurance, like you know what I mean? Like I would be like. Yeah. Especially since they brought Doorman.
But he literally described every corporate job ever.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to turn into this mentally like unstable Reaper man.
Yeah. If you're telling me that guy turns into a Grim Reaper, then holy crap, brother.
Yeah, we're doomed. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the pitting of brother against brother is just different in this scenario. Like, again, we talked about it in our series review, but yeah, I think it's more of that. It's more of sibling rivalry than it is this insane tension between a villain and a hero. And nevertheless, the two have the classic dynamic. Again, young and older sibling two clashing over matters while trying to care for their mummy. So I think that's the biggest problem they're ever going to have. And again, like I think we talked about this in our review as well, that he has to know that Simon has powers. He has to.
Yes.
I mean, like more than he destroyed the kitchen island again.
No,
but like he knows that his brother is laced with
Something.
superpowers from somewhere.
Something.
For years now. He's so used to it, But we'll see how that manifests and what happens. Hopefully soon. And then that leaves us with the DODC, aka the Department of Damage Control. And so initially, Jeff and I were going to do a full-fledged episode on these guys. But to be honest, they fit quite well in this episode, so we decided to keep them here. And so just as their name suggests, the DODC, or Damage Control, as they're referred to in the comics, is the organization that comes in to clean up and repair the damage property left in the wake of superhero conflicts, and they collect items for archival purposes in the process. So if anything left, like debris, any of that stuff, if it belonged to anyone remotely of public interest or superpowered, they will take it and they will seize it as property. And so in the comics, the core group behind the DODC consisted of founder Anne-Marie Hogue, as well as its original owners, Tony Stark and Wilson Fisk.
Now that's interesting.
Yes. And so this is what I was telling you about before we recorded, that, the founders are, Tony Stark and Wilson Fisk. It's interesting.
Fisk makes sense.
They both make sense in some way, right? It's kind of like Tony wants to put his foot
like the whole
forward.
Civil War thing in the
It's
MCU.
exactly the same thing. Like he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's trying to make good, but also like he's collecting stuff to research. I didn't mean to sound like Rocket Raccoon, but it happens all the time now.
Research.
And Wilson Fisk,
Wilson Fisk just sucks.
he's motivated.
He's
that
just a
man.
horrible person.
He's very motivated. And so this partnership in the comics bothered Stark so much that the two eventually sold off their respective shares. And Fisk's reason was that he believed he had a distinct lack of confidence in its ownership after Anne-Marie left. So Anne-Marie resigned and someone else came in. I think her name was Rachel. Rachel.
Sorry. Where is she? Continue. Sorry. I cannot
That
not do
Rachel?
that. I can't do that. Where is she?
I love Christian Bale, but oh man.
So good.
Oh, it's so good. So Fisk didn't like how that woman ran the DODC, and he was like, I refuse to be part of this anymore, and sold his share. And Tony was like, well, I just hate Fisk, so. That's it.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. That was the end of it. And so the DODC has since gone through multiple, leaderships.
Ownerships.
Yeah. So nothing too crazy thereafter. And so this group was originally created by Dwayne McDuffie and Ernie Colon. And they initially, I found it interesting that they initially positioned this group in the comics as a sitcom within the Marvel universe. So the intentionality behind the DODC in the comics was supposed to be slapstick humor. They are not that anymore, even if they even had a semblance of that in MCU. Yeah. Because we very much have the DODC in the MCU. Speaking of, they were first mentioned in 2008's Iron Man, and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Were they really?
Yeah. But they didn't make their on-screen debut until Homecoming in 2017, which is damn near a decade before they started planting the seeds.
Yeah.
So while the DODC identities were introduced in Homecoming, including Anne-Marie Hogue, portrayed by Tin Daly, by the time that Brand New Day is released, we'll be introduced to at least 12 members of the DODC by that point. Very interesting. So they're building this group.
Yeah. Like
slowly
how,
but surely.
like how prominent is this group
Right.
going to be?
Right. Especially in a world where there is no Hydra anymore. Right?
Exactly.
Like if they don't have like a villainous group who is the villainous group?
Yes.
DODC. Kinda. Yeah. So it's
Anti-vigilante task force.
yeah, exactly.
You know, so
Yeah.
I don't think you could ever recreate Hydra. Hydra works so well
Yeah.
during that period of the MCU.
Perfection.
Yeah, like I'll
perfection.
never forget. I mean, it's not to sidetrack, but what was it? Winter Soldier. When we found out that, that doctor has infiltrated Hydra or has infiltrated Shield.
Yeah.
Since the 40s or whatever it is. It's just like, oh,
long game.
like, oh, they're screwed. So and I was like, that's why Shield has to fall. And I was like, oh, this is a perfect storyline. Shield has to fall for Hydra to, but obviously when it comes to Hydra, you cut off one head, right? You cut off one head, two more shall take its place.
Yes, exactly.
Obviously we haven't seen that much yet. Hydra is a pretty non-existent thing. Probably haven't heard of them since, I don't know.
I want to say Civil War.
Civil War. Just because I think because Zemo maybe could have brought it up.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Sure.
Jeff, come on.
Yeah.
Let it count. Let it
There's
count.
not a prominent villainous force.
They're referred to, but they're not. They're not as impactful as they were in the films.
So now it's like, all right, got the DODC. All they care about is finding mutants.
Yeah.
And experimenting and making sure they are not roaming the streets. So we'll see.
And what better way to monitor the superpowered than with gigantic killer robots that can face ID
Sure.
and detect anomalies in the physiology?
So I mean, you could
I
call.
wish y'all could see Jeff's.
Sure. You could call them.
Swiveling his head.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sentinels.
Sentinels. They might be sentinels and stuff.
Oh my god.
I mean,
I just give me a House of M. Just give me it. I want Elizabeth Olsen to get her wish.
we're almost there. I can feel it.
I want her to get.
We just have to get past this next.
How many
phase.
times has the word been said?
Mutants?
Yeah.
Twice.
Twice, right?
Most.
One in
No more than 5, that's for sure.
That's for sure. One in Miss Marvel, correct?
Ms. Marvel.
And then the second one was
In a film.
recent one.
Wakanda forever.
Yes.
Because of Namor.
Yes.
A mutant.
Slowly, just
It's getting there.
throwing it.
It's getting
throwing
there.
it in there.
It's getting there.
Need
and
it.
so the DODC may very well be the creators or the introducers of the Sentinel program, which goes deeper than them. Like they could be working in conjunction with Trask, Bolivar Trask, and the rest of those people. And X-Men territory. We could be here all day talking about that. Like I was like,
you think they? Well, I know obviously Trask is the creator of the Sentinel program. I wonder who they hire if they go that route of Trask.
Who they hire?
Who they cast?
Well, I know because they're our lovely friend that was already on Netflix. He's already played a character. Yeah, so Peter Dinklage has already spoken for in the MCU. So yeah, and they got to get somebody vile, like who's. I think he was already in the MCU though, so I don't think he could. But that fella that we know so well, Walter Goggins. Oh, he would be good Trask. Walter Goggins is very good at being people that you just like, oh, you do.
I don't want to like
I hate
you.
you. But he's so good at being hateable.
Yeah, he was in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So unfortunately, he is also taken. But I'm sure there's tons of folks that could step up to the helm.
But say that's not going to be ways down the line.
No, it's getting closer.
Yeah,
it's definitely getting closer. But
in terms of like X-Men stuff, X-Men MCU, I mean we're on the grasp of it.
Oh yeah, we're on the very cusp of it. I think. Yeah. Woo! So,
Lordy.
Yeah, and so again, we're going to be introduced to at least 12 of these members, but so far, none of those members have been as prominent, at least at the time of this recording, as Agent P. Cleary, who is portrayed by Ariane Moayed, and he's made appearances in both No Way Home as well as Ms. Marvel before entering Wonder Man in the Wonder Man series. And so interestingly enough, I found that Albert Cleary, who is probably the comic book counterpart of Agent Cleary in the comics, was so good at his job that even Dr. Doom wanted to hire him. So I'm curious if there's anything there. I don't think so.
Yeah.
It would change the narrative behind Doom that we know so far. So I don't think there's anything there. But it is an interesting little nuance and nugget of convenience there. But yeah, Agent Cleary, he's very prominent, at least right now. And of course, for those familiar with the Wonder Man series, we now see that they're the central antagonist in Simon's life. And so they set him up with Trevor Slattery, and they're trying to, the greater purpose, like you said, is that they're cleaning up the scene. They were cleaning up the scene, but now they're documenting all the superpowered beings. And it's something so much more prominent than some slapsticky sitcom characters that they were supposed to be. So it's like, oh, we're getting serious now. So yeah, their part has already blown up from what it used to be, and just collecting parts along with the Vulture in Homecoming. You know what I mean? It's so much beyond that now. And so I'm curious what's going to happen. And we might see them sooner than later, all things considered. And so that brings us to Almost Was. So apparently James Gunn explored having Nathan Fillion portray the character at one point during his Guardians of the Galaxy tenure instead, and ultimately using Fillion as the actor face for Archon, a canonical intergalactic warlord. So remember the movie posters that were in Guardians Volume 2?
Yes. So
when Ego's thing is spreading all over the galaxy and over Earth, they showed a movie theater and Nathan Fillion was on the movie posters. That was supposed to be Wonder Man initially, but they changed it to another character that does exist in the comics instead. And so obviously that didn't pan out, but nevertheless, no other names had been formally attached to the role otherwise. However, fan casts included Henry Golding. Oh my God.
Whoa.
Henry Golding would have been great.
Wow.
I know. I'm like, ooh, Henry Golding, come to the MCU.
That would
we
have been
room for
fun.
you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. As well as Bruce Campbell would have been also great. Anthony Starr, who I think would make an interesting Trask because he's very hateable.
Yeah.
And he's great at it. Luke Evans and even James Marsden. So all these, and I think that's just one of those, oh, he wears red glasses too. But the fan cast list is far and wide. It's pretty cool. Check it out. But yeah, Henry Golding would have been neat. I'm kind of
it's
interested.
definitely
I'm like, okay, but I would like to see him in the MCU somewhere. But ultimately, again, they landed with Yaya, and I think just so good. Everything they did and reworked was so great. And it still embodies the essence of what Simon Williams is overall, which I think is the goal, really, at the end of the day. And so for the future of the character in the MCU, so Jeff and I kind of talked about this with the series review, but yeah, what do you think, Jeff, as far as Wonder Man and Simon Williams is concerned?
Like we said in the season review episode, he's great.
Yeah.
Yaya kills it. Obviously, we want more because, like I said, we've only touched 20-30% of what he could do.
Yeah.
We don't know much of the backstory. We don't know like the history. Does anyone else know of him? Is it just the DODC that's monitoring him?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because like it couldn't possibly be the only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know.
I know he mentioned no friends, no friends really, but is there anybody in Periphery like Vivian who like knew and knows, but they just haven't said anything?
Yeah. So, I think we've said this for a lot of the new stuff, like shows that we watched, like that we watched. Obviously, Wonder Man just came out this year, and then end of last year. We don't know when the next time we're going to see them is. Hopefully, it's sooner than later.
What's your ideal Simon Williams next appearance? Give me your fanboy like dream. Right
Me?
now. Yeah.
I mean, I want a season 2.
Yeah.
Just to delve deep more into
So
him.
even before Doomsday?
Yeah. Maybe he makes a cameo.
Yeah.
Because like the easy answer is Avengers.
Yeah.
In one of them.
Yeah.
You know. But season 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you don't like you can't just put him as a cameo, I guess, but
Vision Quest.
that too.
Yeah. Because Vision Quest is, I believe, December.
Is it?
I believe so.
I can't see, even that's like falling under the radar because I'm like, damn, I haven't seen much of it. We don't know when it's coming out.
They just said 2026, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
people are like, so basically December.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we see him in Vision Quest, because I think it would be a great tribute to the comic book version, but also I think there's something there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But from what little we've been revealed about it, I mean, anything could happen, and I would like to see him that soon, I think is more or less what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll pop up there, though. I think it's going to be a minute before we see him again. Yeah. Unfortunately, but I mean, who knows? He might pop up in Daredevil for all we freaking know.
Like I said, any of these characters can pop up anywhere.
Exactly. So yeah, I hope we get to see him very soon. Not as long as Shang-Chi has taken to reemerge.
Yeah.
I mean, but at least we got Marvel Zombies Shang-Chi. Like, I liked him there too, and it would be nice to see some of them more frequently. But I think it's all done with some purpose. But you know what? The one outlier still remains. America Chavez. She's the only one, ironically, the only one that really feels like they messed up there. Yeah.
That's actually the one where I can be like, okay.
Yeah, they kind of...
you guys need to figure something out for her because she is the only hero.
And I think she popped up at the Wonder Man premiere. She popped up somewhere.
She pops up in every single one.
She does.
It's either her or it's Iman Vellani.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, to me, I'm just like, she's the only hero who does what she does. There will never ever be a different universe version of her, which is like, which is advantageous to either a hero or a villain. Obviously, I think because of how we've seen her in Multiverse of Madness, she wants to do good, be a hero, be good. So, what the hell? Like, she is a multiverse traveler, and we're in the multiverse saga.
Barely anymore.
Barely. But all I'm saying is the next time we see her, she better have a humongous role.
Man, if they even... I think there's even the smallest chance we might not see her ever again. I don't think that it's completely out of the realm of possibility. I think there's a small smidge that they're just like, forget it, we're past it.
Because since Franklin's in this month, now,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
It really is dependent on which team after these new Avengers are they gonna pursue.
Like, if anybody, Doom should be going after her.
Literally. Yeah, he should be. And maybe he does. But we don't know. We won't know until the end of the year.
Sad.
And so that leaves us with suggested reading. And I said this to Jeff early on. I was like, man, Avengers. You just have to read Avengers. You just have to read classic from the get-go, day one Avengers all the way through the 70s, maybe 80s, and then jump again into the aughts and the late 90s. And you will get the best Wonder Man content there is. There are quite a few solo series from the 90s, speaking of, but a lot of the digital accessibility of them almost doesn't exist. They have like issues 1, 2, and 5, but of like 40. You know what I mean? Like they're not very accessible, so I wouldn't suggest that so readily. But again, the best reads are definitely his time in the Avengers. So go forth and read that stuff. And with all that said, that is the end of the show. And thanks for listening. Next episode, so we're throwing it back a wee bit. We're going to talk about somebody who's actually climbed back into some semblance of relevance lately, thanks to Marvel Gaming. So join us in a couple of weeks as we finally discuss the celestial Madonna herself, Mantis.
Montes.
What did she say? What is her ult?
Oh my gosh.
I know the cadence. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We are. What did she say?
Oh my gosh.
Right? It's gonna bother. Oh my gosh. But anyway, we're going to talk about Mantis next. And
Yes.
so hang with us in a couple of weeks. And a thank you to all of our Patreon supporters and a special We Are Groot salute to Ed, Sherry, Chris, Robin, Laura, Jenny, Andrea, Ashley, Joeliz, Andrew, Nats, Katie, Melanie, and Tyler. Follow us on social at STRK, CNTRST. If you experienced ads during this episode, you can also unlock an ad-free version of the podcast by supporting us on Patreon. And of course, if you like what you hear, please review, rate, and subscribe.
Once again, thanks for listening. We will catch y'all in the next one. But first, we have a birthday. This week, our very own Dai's birthday.
What is that? What is the song from Thor? It's my birthday.
It's my birthday. Yeah. Yes, it is Dai's birthday. Friday.
So
Correct.
it will have passed by the
Passed.
time, but my birthday was yesterday. For those of you listening on Saturday.
So go wish Dai a happy birthday.
Aw, thanks, guys.
Woo!
It's my birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's so good.
Why does this play happy birthday?
So good. That's actually one of my favorite parts of that movie.
It's really fun.
It's such a weird movie, but that is definitely one of my favorite parts. It makes me laugh every time. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Once again, thanks for listening. We will catch y'all in the next one.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Mr. Kovac will meet you in the living room.
Amazing. Is she wearing shoes? Oh my God.